Good morning, evening, afternoon, whenever the heck you're listening to this. Welcome back to the lovely show of Nerdin' Out. My name is Evan.
You struggled there. Do you not want to be called Evan anymore?
I don't know. I don't know if I identify as Evan anymore.
Oh God.
I think I identify as like a left flip flop.
Oh. Not the right one though?
No,
Why?
because I consider myself more of a leftist.
Oh God.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
That was the only joke I could make. I'm not clever. I was trying to think of something clever to say other than.
I
my
mean,
name,
well,
but
the
I
left
couldn't.
does flip flop a lot. Okay.
What's up, David?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. How about you?
I mean, I'm tired, but I'm good.
You're running on you're those dangerous people where you turn the battery saver on at 20% and see if you can make it the rest of the day. That's how you're looking right now.
Yeah. That just means that my commentary is gonna be like no filter. It's gonna be.
Wait, there was a filter before? No, okay.
Yes, there was.
There was a filter before.
Yes, there was.
Oh no.
Anyway.
So what's new with you? Or rather, what's in the news today? What we got going?
The news today. Solo, the Star Wars story. It was a film about Han Solo, a younger Han Solo, not Harrison Ford, and not CGI Harrison Ford. It stumbled out of the gate this week. It came out on Friday.
Yep.
And it's gotten pretty lackluster reviews as of right now. It's a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, which a lot of people consider Rotten Tomatoes not a very reliable source, but it's something that we immediately go to, and we can kind of really gauge where it is,
right?
Because it averages the critics and the fans,
right?
And the fact that it's averaging, between fans and critics to be about a 71, that's kind of it's a red flag.
It's a passing grade. It's a C, barely.
It's a C minus.
Yeah,
and so I'm not really looking forward to seeing this. I don't think. No, I'm not.
No optimism at all, huh?
I don't know. When there's so many other stories in the Star Wars universe that they could tell, Han Solo's isn't one that they need to tell.
Not really.
I wasn't begging to hear how he made the Kessel Run.
Yeah.
I really wasn't.
Part of the joy that people had of Han Solo was he had sort of, if you use the same character, an Indiana Jones-esque kind of character. You didn't know a lot about his background, and that's what added to his charm. You don't really know how far he's come to be the person he is right now, and
right,
and that's kind of the fun of it. Is he's just
absolutely,
a westerny kind of guy in space. So I don't. And the casting, I know a lot of people weren't too wild about the casting either. And
I did like Donald Glover as Rando. Or
Rando.
Rando.
Childish Landino.
Childish Landino.
Yeah.
Yes. Lando. Sorry.
He's good in any role he tries to fit in.
Yeah, I know.
He
is. I was gonna say. I think he would be the highlight for me if I saw it. I think I would go into it wanting to see him.
Right.
Because I think he might be the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, also Emilia Clarke. I like her.
Yeah.
She's a great actress too. So I think those two would be the bright spots in a rather disappointing movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll find out. I mean, we'll
sure
probably
we
do a
will.
review.
Oh,
Got to do our due justice. You know how it is.
I know. I was gonna say it's out of obligation at this point. Also, a game that came out this week, Detroit.
Yes.
Do you know anything about it?
It's a terrible city. Lots of boarded windows. I drove through it. No one stops in Detroit. They always drive past it and wave. That's usually.
Did you see?
Oh, you mean the video game?
Did you see Eminem while you were there?
Nah.
Now
Yes.
everybody from the 313.
In the only building that had lights on.
And running water.
And running water.
Oh, that's terrible. That's
No.
a terrible joke.
No, I've seen.
I'm gonna live till I'm 50.
Yeah.
And then die like the city of Detroit. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, people of Detroit. That was really insensitive. I'm
No,
sorry.
we can't apologize to them. They're actively living in the city. There's many places to stay.
Stop.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Anyway.
Yeah, Detroit looks really good. I saw a little bit
The
about
game,
it.
by the way, we're talking about the game now.
Yeah. No, Detroit does not look good. We were very serious about the first.
Okay.
No, I saw it kind of snuck up on people a little bit.
It did a little bit on me. I didn't really know where it came from, and then I learned more about it. It looks interesting.
Yeah.
So it's.
I know Nathanael was a bit excited about it.
Yeah,
too.
he was very excited. He wants to get like a group together and do a playthrough of it because it's similar to Until Dawn.
Yeah.
In the storytelling and the decision making, and you can play as there's 3 playable characters, and all of them can die at any point. And once they die, it's like that's the end of the story, and it's interesting. And what it is the it takes place this futuristic world takes place in the city of Detroit, or the story does, and there's these now the world has welcomed this new form of like assistants, like robots, or like the robots are now like becoming more part of like society, and it's this whole like debate of like what is human actually, and or what does it mean to be human, and all that stuff. So it looks interesting, and I would love to get a hold of that and maybe testing it out and seeing how it is. It looks stunning though.
Oh yeah, we're getting to. I'm very happy that we're getting to a point in games and both in movies where regardless of how terrible the story falls together, it seems like more often than not, it's nice to look at it, the least.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, exactly. But fitting how you have 3 characters and they can die at any time in the city of Detroit.
Dude, come on.
I mean, does it have to be in the future? Could be right.
Dude, we had like I'm sure like half of our fan base was in Detroit. Now it's gone. Now it's gone.
They got smart moved out, or.
Dude, stop. You are
sorry.
The worst. Okay.
I'm sorry. No, but in all honesty, it does look really, really good, and
Yes.
I do look forward to it.
And people in Detroit, I love you. If there's anyone listening in Detroit, I love you.
Yeah, no.
Please don't stop listening.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
It's all in good
now,
fun.
what have you been entertaining yourself with? The same stuff?
No,
boring bastard?
actually. Hey,
White bread.
calm down. Oh,
Okay.
I got called. A good friend of mine. We were going back and forth, and it's nice when you get to a point in a relationship where you can be like playfully racist towards each other.
Oh yeah.
And you both know you're kidding. And so he's of Korean and Chinese descent, so it was easy for him. But I got humbled because he had plenty for me.
I'm sure.
It's like, listen, you half-sized pint of gelato, and I'm just like, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. It's soon enough, like the same day, my brother was getting on my nerves. I'm just like, calm down. Used it. I'm just like, yeah, this is good. I'm like,
This is a good one.
yeah. So no,
Oh my gosh.
I've been playing. Let's see. I got back into Fallout 4 only recently, but I dabbled off of that only to fall back into playing.
Don't dabble into it.
No, I know.
Don't dabble into it.
Because you get stuck
You
very easily.
you dabble into it. You're done. That's it.
Yeah. No,
You're stuck.
that's how it kind of fell together. As I was just playing Civ, and then my Steam account had to get updated, and I was just looking through my games, and I'm just like, oh, Fallout. Yeah, I had that game. Let me just hop in there and see where I was.
Did you get an email saying, "Hey, you have an account that's still active"?
They emailed me again, Jagex did, and they were just like, we have new policy updates. No, but here's the worst part, is because they're closing RuneScape Classic.
No.
I know that means nothing, but it's
What?
to me, like, I have a few accounts.
What will virgins of the world do?
Look, man. But yeah, so I was playing Fallout 4, and I was stumbling around Fallout 4, and I was just fumbling around on my Steam account, and Universe Sandbox was on there. I don't know if you've ever played Universe Sandbox,
No, I
but
haven't.
that's just one of those where you get all the tools of making a universe and like throw stars at each other, throw moons across, so stuff like that.
Just
And
like flick a star across
yeah,
the...
yeah.
That actually
Where
sounds really
you
interesting.
actually put like 2 black holes and see which one wins, and it's really cool.
Fight for my amusement.
Yeah.
Go.
Things that are probably actually happening in the infinite realm of the universes. There has to be somewhere where everything we're doing on the interwebs is real.
Oh my gosh.
Infinite realities.
Dude, okay, so what I've been into, dude, I've been dying to talk to you about this because I am so excited about this. I found this new anime that I love so much.
What is it? I may.
Okay, if you've heard of it, and you just hear me out, okay?
Okay.
Just because it's gotten some reviews.
Mixed?
It got some mixed
Okay.
responses. So I have you heard of Darling in the Franxx?
Yes.
You have.
Yes, I have. I've watched it.
You've watched it.
Yes.
What do you think of it? Like I know there's the obvious thing that is like that reminds you that you're watching a Japanese anime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Butt control, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
You take that out of it.
I mean, there goes half the plot. No, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
no, not half the plot, but it goes like there. That's like the core of how like the robots work. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You take that out. It's a good story, right?
It's a pretty good story.
Okay.
I clinged on to it.
I'm not crazy, right?
No.
Okay. And so far,
I can't say that I've gotten more than like maybe 5 or 6 episodes into it.
Dude, keep going.
Should I?
It gets better.
Okay.
It gets better. No, I have rewatched one episode like 4 or 5 times.
Dang.
It is amazing. It is episode 13. That is probably the best episode so far.
Okay.
It is really, really good. And what's awesome is that it does such a good job with storytelling. It just drops you.
Good.
It drops you in this world. You have no idea. You have so many questions.
Yeah.
And what's awesome, it's being simuldubbed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like the Japanese dub right now is 3 episodes ahead.
Right.
And then the English dub gets updated like every few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it was funny because I saw it at first and I saw that it was just 15 episodes, and I thought it was just one of those quick like 15 episode anime series.
Yeah, just the one shots.
Yeah, the one shot. So I thought everything that they were gonna do or gonna experiment with, or all the answers were gonna be explained or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was getting to the end. I was like, how is this gonna end this way? This is like, and it ended on 15, which was a very climactic ending. So that kind of made me think, okay. I mean, that's a good ending, I guess. I mean, and there's some things I kind of wish they could have expanded on more, I guess. And then all of a sudden, it updated that moment, and episode 16 just went up at that moment, and all of a sudden, prompt for 16, I was like, wait, there's more? And I didn't see it, and I was so confused, but I was so happy.
Yeah.
And then I did my research. I looked up. No, it's being simuldubbed, and so now
they don't do that often with.
No, they don't. They've been doing
often.
that with Super, Dragon Ball Super, and there's a few other ones.
Just because the following on that, you can make a whole continent of people with following.
They're doing that with My Hero Academia as well. That's being simuldubbed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I found this new anime that I like, and the characters they're relatable. They're fun at times. There's some that like are not that likable, but they're supposed to be that way, and it works for their character.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy.
Yeah, I can tell, man.
It's so good.
I give it a good. I do usually for the new animes that I watch. I give it a 5 episode.
You have to admit that
if it's terrible, I give it like 2 to 3. But I stuck around, and I see what you mean. It's good and very immersive.
Yes, and you understand what I'm saying. Like you understand what I'm saying, where it does nothing. It doesn't like hold your hand.
Yeah, no. It
drops you in.
You have to figure things out.
Yeah, and you have questions, and then as you watch and as you learn, you get answers to those questions. And then it's funny because then it's like those questions get answered. Then you get like a few more. You're like, okay, well then if this happens, then what happens after that?
Yeah.
And or why is it this way? And oh my gosh! And you have to admit the animation style is beautiful.
It's very beautiful.
You have to mention it is really well done.
Yeah.
It's done by Trigger,
Mm-hmm.
Trigger and A1 Pictures.
Yeah, A1's like
A1 is good. Well, it's funny. A1 took Trigger Studios Kill la Kill animation style and like smoothed it out.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what they did too.
They took some sandpaper and, and rubbed it down. They're like, okay, not that sharp.
Yeah. Soft edge tool in Photoshop.
Yeah, basically. I will admit that it does hit some anime tropes.
All animes will.
I know they do. I know they do. But I keep saying but, and then I think of. But I mean, if you ignore like the obvious innuendos that they're making, the thing is like that works for the story because these kids, this whole world takes place in this post-apocalyptic world where these kids are used as weapons, where the adults hide in these cities in domes, and the kids they're not given names, they're given codes. And they don't teach them about their bodies growing up. So when they get to the certain age of puberty, they have to just deal with it. Yeah. And the way that they pilot these things, these kids have to connect on a very emotional level that it is suggestive. And I won't deny it. I won't deny it. It is. When I first saw it, I was like, really? Yeah. But it does play into the story later, and like how their emotions interfere with their decision making. Like you see it and it makes sense. So they're not just doing that for fan service.
Right.
They're doing it. There's a purpose to it, even though it's really weird and in your face. That's honestly though. Other than that, and then and then like maybe one or two other parts. That's like the most fan service that it gets.
Yeah.
That is the most that it goes, and I'm really happy about that because a lot of shows now get really fan service, and I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
So this one, it's like tasteful with a purpose.
Right.
So,
who could thought? Who thought?
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now,
on to the main topic.
so I think the only way to start this review is just with a hearty. Now.
Oh
anyway,
man, Deadpool 2.
So Deadpool 2. We are reviewing Deadpool 2.
Oh man.
First, just quick refresher. David, in your words, who is Deadpool in a sentence?
The best goddamn mother effing superhero that's not a superhero in existence.
That is a good way to put it. So he's a mutant.
Yep.
Who his mutant ability is regeneration. Like
just invincibility. Just straight up invincible to
Well,
he's not like he feels pain.
He does feel
but
pain.
Nothing kills him.
Yes. And he has cancer and his regenerative powers don't like they keep attacking the cancer cells and then it gets worse and it sends his cancer into overdrive so he's scarred everywhere.
Yep.
So he always has cancer, but he just can't die.
Yep.
And yeah, and through this he's become insane and to the point where he's like self-aware that he's in a comic book or he's in a movie.
Yeah.
And he breaks the fourth wall, which is my favorite part about his character.
Yep.
And he's gone insane. He swears like a sailor and
He's just fun.
He is a fun character, and I'm really glad that they got a second one made because the first one was so successful. And I think 20th Century Fox saw that it worked and went, "Here's a bunch of money, go make another one."
Oh yeah, totally, man.
You could tell that the budget went up for this one. You could
completely. And that's the thing too is there's very few movies where the second one outdoes the first one. Very few I can name. John Wick.
Okay, I wouldn't say necessarily that this one was better than the first one.
I think it. I really enjoyed.
I enjoyed both. I think I enjoyed both equally.
Yeah.
I think that the other one, or the first one. I mean, they're very different because the first one was an origin story, and then this one was his own story. It was just like another
follow-up,
which was follow-up narrative where he didn't have to. You didn't have to like set the rules of his powers
how things
or
work.
anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
Everyone kind of knew what they were getting into.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, so I think that's why the first one I think is still better because it was new and it was fresh. This one is very much just doing a lot of the same thing that the first one did, but just more of it because he has more time to make those jokes.
Yeah,
I think that's.
But
what
at the same time, I kind of like how they cut all of the setting up the rules for everything out, where they just throw you right in.
Yeah.
And that's the charm of Marvel movies is that they tend to just throw you straight into the action.
Yeah.
And that's one of the catches to a lot of people enjoying Marvel movies is they don't have to wait for you to be like, okay, this is what happened, this is where we're going, and action.
Right. Exactly.
It's just like this guy died. You're like, whoa, what? Why? Who?
Why?
What? And they just kind of like throw you into it. I think for now, and just fresh seeing it. I think it did better than the first one. I really enjoyed it.
Me seeing it twice.
Yeah.
That's I think I feel
you've gotten more reflective on what you've seen.
I stand by what I said. I think that they're different, and I think that the first one will stand up as the better one only because it was the newer, fresher thing.
Yeah.
And it was bold in the things that it did. Whereas the second one, it was basically doing everything that the first one did. Just more of it. Yeah. And some people love that, and I don't have a problem with it. I enjoyed the movie too.
Oh yeah.
My fiance enjoyed it. We both liked it. We didn't see it together. I'll just be clear about that. We didn't. She saw it with her friend, and then I saw it with my friends, and then you.
Yep.
That sounded like you're not my friend. I'm sorry.
And then me. It's just
And then-
like I saw it with my really
and then-
good
and
people
then-
who I love and cherish
And then,
go with.
and then this,
and then this guy.
this moose knuckle. Anyway,
hey, hold on.
anyway, so okay, so let's switch it up.
Okay.
So what was some bad things of this movie that you didn't like, if there was any?
Man, that's very hard to say early on, but initially, just plot kind of, not really like main story follow a line plot, but it was very divergent at times, where it was just like, you know,
It was very scatterbrained.
a little bit, but
Yeah,
that's
I know,
the charm of it, and I kind of like they keep your attention. It's just like bam, 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 bam. And they keep your attention.
Yeah.
I like that. But in retrospect, thinking back, the plot you probably could have just summed the plot up very, maybe in 30 minutes. But obviously, with a Deadpool movie, everything's much more enjoyable and longer and very enjoyable, as he would make an innuendo about that. But I think mostly plot. Just like I don't feel like this was overarching in major Marvel cinematic following a storyline.
Yeah.
This is more just like setting up certain things for future. Obviously, Cable being in there is an important part, and Colossus and Domino and a few of the other ones in there. That's an important part. But just like I felt like the setup to get to the end from where you just stopped at Deadpool 1, where Deadpool was okay. He might be an X-Men in the future, and then at the very end of it, you have all these characters that are kind of on a team, you guess, and they don't really make that official. They just kind of say, oh, they're a family now. So I don't know. I just felt a little disconnected from where they're going in the long run. They didn't really set up anything on the whole aspect of it. But other than that, I have no complaints. Like everything else was fantastic. Like I enjoyed 110% of this movie. So
I think that I think my one complaint about it is that it, for the most part, I mean, it was its own thing, and it did tell a completely different story from the first one, because the first one was an origin,
right?
And this one is like he said, it was a family story.
Yeah.
And this is a family movie, and I think what ended up happening was he made a lot of the same jokes, and not necessarily the same jokes, but it was just a lot of the same things from the first movie. And I wouldn't necessarily say that was wrong of them to do, and that they should have changed it, because if they changed it and he became a different character, then everyone would have hated it.
Yeah.
The fact that he was still Deadpool and he was still making jokes and all that stuff is fine. I just think that it was a lot for
viewer.
Yeah, for the viewer, I guess. I can think of a few times where it got really, really graphic, and then and people in the theater were like, "Oh," or "Oh my god, oh what is that?"
But that's what I
you
like.
saw his
that.
penis, right?
Yeah,
you saw his penis,
a
right?
little bit, yeah.
And
CGI'd, yeah.
Yes, oh my gosh.
They snuck that in for a half second.
Yeah, I was like, first time I saw it, I was like, was that?
To be fair, they did that in the first one when he blew up the whole place and he was fighting with
oh yeah,
what's his name?
I mean, you didn't see it that much.
Yeah, well there's silhouettes a little bit, but it throws you a little bit, and that's what kind of the fun of it is. It keeps you on edge. You don't really know what's gonna happen.
He's just straight shirt cocking it.
Yeah.
I love that phrase. I'm going to use it so much more. Okay, so what were some good things that you liked? You mentioned that you liked a lot of it, or most of it. So what?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
I enjoyed the pacing of the movie. Like plot, sure. Movies can go 2.5 hours without plot and end up, the beginnings end up at the same. But I liked the pacing of the movie where it showed you. Kind of like the first one, it just kind of cut to a scene and it kind of threw you into it, and you didn't really have context, and then it cut back, and then I like the jumping around in movies because it gives you a sense of perspective that you wouldn't really get if you just follow a straight storyline where it's just step by step by step by step. This kind of, you have to pay attention to certain things in the movie. It makes you attentive
And I like that about movies, especially in this one when everything seems, it doesn't seem like everything's serious, but it is. Everything's like, it feels important when you're watching it. And especially in like the jail scene where, Wade and Fire Fist both have their collars on. They both don't have superpowers. You're just like, okay, well, Wade can't regenerate, and he's going to like actually have, cancer symptoms. And then Cable's just going to come in. And like, you initially think that he's after Deadpool because when he's searching around, he sees, like when he uses that eye of his to look through like the cable and the data and stuff, you see Wade on there. The cable looks through the cable. Ironic. Then they're just like, oh no, he's after this kid. And you're just like, oh, why? Why is he important? And so I like the pacing in the movie. It keeps you attentive, it keeps you in your seat, and it keeps you paying attention to the movie. I never really zoned out on any part of this movie, which for, borderline ADHD of me, squirrel moments happen quite often on certain movies. But
there were some parts where there was one part specifically that I stopped and I watched you to see what
part was that?
What your reaction was. Just when.
Yeah, that was you know what? I liked that. I
just went and looked and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then just one after the other, you're just like, I saw your mouth just get more and more open, like.
I'm just like, they're really doing this. They're pulling a Rogue One with this. I know what? I liked that part. But I really enjoyed. I can't find anything wrong.
We're definitely naming our kid Shad.
Yeah, I know. That was really cool. I just can't find anything not to hate about this movie. There's nothing that I didn't have a moment, and in thinking back, a lot of movies, I have moments where I can just like look around the movie theater. I don't really have like to pay attention to certain parts. And for certain movies, it doesn't do that for me. It's just like, pay attention. Like this is happening right now. You need to like watch. So, yeah. What about you? How about you? What did you enjoy the most about this movie?
I just enjoyed all the references.
Yeah,
that was amazing. When he answers the phone, and you say, "Hey, it's me, Gale."
Yeah,
Gale is one of the writers for Deadpool, for the Deadpool comics.
Really?
Yeah. Gale is her name. Gale.
I didn't know that.
I can't remember her last name, but she writes the comics for Deadpool. Let's see. There's so many.
There's quite a few references.
I was gonna say he calls Dopender Goose from Top as a reference to Top Gun.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Colossus.
Yeah.
That's from RoboCop.
It's like, yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's from Robo. Shut up. And then Deadpool shortly after that references his own movie with Superman landing or superhero landing.
Yeah.
And like,
he's like bad on the knees. Yeah.
It's like he's like, oh, so impractical. And then literally right after that, he quotes Colossus with his 4 to 5 moment speech. Oh yeah, then it's like, brush your teeth, a hero. Wash your hair, superhero. Like, jerk off into the hand soap dispensary, a hero. And he goes, and Colossus like smells his hands. He's like, what? I will say movie. They really utilized Colossus, I think, in a better way in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Because that fight scene at the end with him, I feel like that was really, really good.
You got to see like, unrestrained, like, let loose Colossus.
This is how we do it in Mother Russia.
I'm like, dude, yeah, this is what I want to see from him. Like,
missing a tooth.
Yeah, not like School Crossing guard. I really like.
Not Chrome Jesus.
I love this movie so much. It's so good.
I love it's like say f- once, just once. It's like, wow, you're going to hell.
Oh, I love that.
Have fun with that swamp mouth.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You're welcome, Canada. Yeah. I love that. That's so good. And he knows too. He's just Deadpool. There's just people who are their characters, how Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
He's just Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Wolverine is.
You know the story and how he became Deadpool, right? Or how he like heard about Deadpool.
How he heard about Deadpool?
Yeah.
No, I don't know the story.
He was someone gave him a Deadpool comic book, and he was like, Deadpool, what is this? And they opened it to a page where in the panels, and they were someone asked Deadpool what he looked like underneath his mask, and he said, "I look like a mixture of a radioactive Sharpay and Ryan Reynolds." And he said, "Well, this is destiny. I have to be Deadpool now." And then he spent the next 10 years trying to get the first Deadpool movie made, and then
there you go.
And he finally got to do it.
One of the most successful.
Yeah, R-rated movies domestically.
It's so good. And you know, didn't they make a Passion of the Christ reference too? Where he's just like,
they did.
Passion of the Christ.
Yes, they did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I said domestically. It's like they beat us domestically, but internationally, where religion doesn't exist.
Oh, I like this. I'm gonna probably have to see this again. I'm probably gonna get this movie. It's gonna be.
No, it's good.
It's gonna hold the bot. You know what? That's probably what is inhibiting Solo, a Star Wars story too. It's just the success of this movie.
You know what? Very Mel Gibson B.
Yes. You're on this is where the battery. So it's like you have 5% left. Plug me in, please. This is where you're at right now. The graphics start dropping. Cell service starts going worse.
Man, my phone starts looking like it's running on dial-up. AOL sign, like a light starts lighting up in my head. Yeah. I mean, just stick an electric cord up my. That'll charge me up.
Just like. Oh, that was a good part of the movie too. Yeah. I really liked how. And you know what? You don't really see a lot from
Negasonic Teenage.
Yeah,
Warhead.
that's a long ass name.
Negasonic Teenage Negasonic longest name ever. I love when he's riding around the house on the on the thing. It's just,
Xavier's.
It's I'm not in the mood to be touched right now.
Yeah,
I'm not ready. And she was like, I said no touching. I died. That got me so good.
I love
this helmet smells like Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. She's like, oh, a house filled with pictures of old white men.
I feel like I should have brought my rape.
Yeah. When he knocks over the bus, that was broken before it even hit the ground.
No, that was broken. No, that was broken when it was laying there on the ground. Oh my gosh, we could just sit here all night
quote
and quote it. Oh gosh, it's so good.
God, I like this movie. I like it more than the first one. I feel like this one, and ironically, it is more of a family movie because there was very little of the risque stuff that you wouldn't probably bring a family to, except for the
the what?
The unmentionable part where the baby, the 30-second clip of his dong.
It wasn't even 30 seconds. It was one.
It was a half second. Yeah.
Oh man, that was funny.
I have nephews and
Lethal Instinct.
I'm gonna see this movie again. But
oh man, yeah, my fiance went with her pregnant friend to see
this
movie. Yeah. I mean, her friend enjoyed it, so.
Yeah. I mean, there's just something about it where how messed up they're being, and it's on purpose, and of course, and it's just something nice about it. I think that's kind of why people watch Eric Andre. Yeah, I think that's why people like watching stuff like that. It's out of the norm. It feels unscripted. It's just in your face. It's good. I really like it.
I was gonna say, oh man, but yeah, oh my gosh, we can just talk forever about parts that we thought were funny.
Okay, props to the sound department. They did a Blade Runner 2049 thing with Cable with the audio. I really really enjoyed that, especially in the beginning scenes.
Did you notice how when he was sitting there in the future when we first were introduced to Cable, there was the purple light over him?
Right.
And you think that was a hint, or that was a nudge because he played Thanos?
Probably. Oh yeah, you know what? Probably. And Deadpool did call him. It's chill Thanos, or easy there Thanos, or whatever.
No, chill Thanos.
Yeah.
What I was waiting for.
You wanted a reference.
I wanted him to be. Should have seen it. It was a sadder ending than Infinity War.
Right. I wish they did that. That could be in the deleted scenes, but no, they finished that movie.
You know what isn't in the deleted scenes? It was part of the post-credit scene or the after-credit scene where Deadpool uses the time machine. He goes back and kills baby Hitler.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They cut that out of the movie. He jokes about it, but then that was supposed to be in the after-credit scenes, but they cut it out because they thought it would be too insensitive.
Right. I know everything.
I was gonna
It's
say
Deadpool. Who cares? Like, I like how he was hyping on Cable about just like remember when he was dying. Don't judge people not by the the content of their character.
Cable just like
Jesus. I guess we should just park on the cast. I think they did a really good job on the cast.
What was the girl who played Domino?
Beats. Ziza Beats or something?
Zazie Beats.
Yeah.
She did really well. I really enjoyed her.
I kind of would be excited to have just a solo movie for her. Like that seems like a really cool idea.
I think
just the luck idea.
The luck idea. Well, here's the thing about that. I would be careful with that because she works best as a complementary character. I think she works better as a complementary character more than Black Widow. I think Black Widow deserves more of a standalone film than Domino does. And let me explain that further. Not just I'm not just gonna leave it at that.
Right.
Because I feel like there's only so much that you can do with the luck aspect that it works in small sample sizes in a whole complete movie with more than one main character. But with Black Widow, she has many layers. She has many more layers to her character, I think. And there's a lot more to her than just one thing and like kicking and flipping. Like she has like the hacker intelligence, and I'm not saying that Domino can't do that. I mean, she's lucky, so she could probably do anything that she wanted.
Flub anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure if they went that way, they probably could explore. Probably could explore a lot of things about her luck. But I think as of now, where she is, I think they'd have to develop her more before she was ready for her own movie. Because I think right now she's best as a
I don't know, man.
As a support character.
I just find like maybe a plot where it's a movie about her and she has her luck, and then just maybe something where suddenly in a situation something not lucky happens to her, and then she wonders if she's starting to lose her her ability to be always lucky and always not have to chill. I don't know. I was very, I don't know, not impressed, but just like I don't know. I'm very interested in the character now of Domino, but anyway, no, yeah. And then Josh Brolin being Josh Brolin, he's like, I don't know. He's always been like a very prolific stoic actor in a lot of his roles, but I don't know. He seemed very like laid back in this movie. Like he wasn't like.
You noticed all the Goonie jokes they made?
Yeah.
That was fun. Hey, One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you never called anyone Chunk at one point.
I know.
That's like a gimme. Yeah, but no, Josh Brolin was really good. And I think, and it's crazy because he turned in two great performances. One is Thanos in Infinity War, and then one is Cable. He did a really good job.
Both very different roles. Like
both very different characters.
Yeah.
And
one is like hated, super at this point like deity.
Basically.
And then the other just being a time traveling guy, just like you and I, who just has this very serious, straightforward,
with a winter soldier on. I have three questions. One, is dubstep still a thing?
Yeah. Every single time, I guess they played dubstep. Like, and what did he say? He was just like, I guess dubstep never dies. Yeah.
I guess dubstep never dies, and you're just like.
And then it starts playing. I thought that was kind of funny.
Dude, the soundtrack in this movie was good.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, especially I felt with the Cable scenes. Like, as a person who really likes Blade Runner, I could appreciate that more than most of the soundtrack. Like, they played a lot of good songs as they do with Deadpool movies because they have a very particular selection of songs. Like Aha was in there, Wham. I mean, if we stayed for the credits, there's probably like 13, 14 songs that have to have credit given to them. But that's the thing is, I want to see this again because there's probably so much I missed in the first round. Oh man, no, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10. Wow.
Sony, or not Sony, 20th Century Fox. I'm sorry.
Yeah. This was the last 20th century. Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. They have the one X-Men movie coming out next year.
Mm-hmm.
But after that will have been the last 20th Century Fox, like Marvel movie.
That's crazy.
After that, it's just going to Disney. So will we see
you conglomerate?
Will we see the end of
no
Deadpool as we know him?
No.
Though, do you think they'll change him?
No, they couldn't.
They can't.
They can't.
I don't know. It's Disney.
They can't.
Are they willing to pump out R-rated movies?
You know, I'm sure there's a side of Disney that they want to stick with the family friendly side, and it's not to be said that Disney hasn't made edgy movies before. They have, but I think this is a market they can't corner. I think if they really want to make the most money out of Deadpool, they're gonna have to stick with what 20th Century Fox has set up for him. It's to the book. It's his character. That's how he is. He has to be, pushing the envelope all the time.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
And it'd be smart on Disney's because then they can apply to their older audience, and it won't just be 99.9% family-friendly films that you can go and see with your kids all the time. Because sometimes you have to get away and see films like this. I think that was the whole point of the first one. So it was on Valentine's weekend, wasn't it, when it released?
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing. It was just like, oh, go see it with your date, and it's just like they kind of set you up for success, especially given how much of a following it's amassed since the first one. I feel like a lot of people who don't know Deadpool after seeing that are really into the character, and they really enjoy this, no censor supervillain that you don't really get with X-Men films or Marvel films, or you don't really get that with DC, and he's the one guy you can turn to for the most vulgar, unrelenting comedy comes from a lot of that, and I think that Disney can't censor that, or else they will lose a lot of their profitability on that.
Right. Yeah. I don't think if Disney does get a hold of them, I don't think they're going to change it. I don't think they can afford to change it.
No.
They're going to lose so much money if they change it to a PG-13. That's going to be terrible.
Especially since that's the market you're wanting to reach to, is the older crowd. And I mean, if you think about it, when you were younger, every little kid wants to see a movie that they're not technically allowed to see. People see R-rated movies before they're actually 17 and up. Same with PG-13.
I was gonna say my mom took my little sister to go see Deadpool today.
Yeah,
and she's not 18 yet. So.
Yeah, so and that's the thing is
she's turning 18 in July, so I mean she's like right there. So
yeah,
whatever.
That's not too far away.
No,
but yeah, man, I really think that they've set themselves up for success, in which when Disney gets a hold of it, they will have the start of what I think is a really good it's a really good niche market that they can set themselves into, because then they can actually open up into other movies in their repertoire, maybe make an R-rated Disney animated film.
No, what?
Right?
They can do that. I can't get the one scene out of my head where he shoves the whole like bag of cocaine.
Yeah, he just slaps his face,
punches himself.
His eyes just go. Yeah,
and then just about to do something really bad. Does the LeBron James?
And then the Wolverine reference at the beginning got me so good. Just like, come on,
you Wolverine.
I know. You have to go and die.
You have to die a little to live. To live. Let's test that theory.
Yeah. Oh, I liked it. I liked this movie a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
I liked this movie.
I did too. It was an enjoyable movie. I think overall I think I give it
just do it.
Like an 8 out of 10.
Excuse me?
I give it an 8 out of 10 only because I feel like sometimes, like watching it a second time, it really did give me like some perspective, and it was I feel like for how hyped this movie was.
It was pretty hyped.
It was very, very hyped. And I feel like what happened was I went into it with my expectations a little too high.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And it kind of and I was a little underwhelmed by it, which wasn't my fault, which wasn't the film's fault. It was my fault. So I still enjoyed it. It's not. It's a terrible movie. The sequels always ruin are always terrible and stupid. No, that's not what I'm saying.
It's only true of DreamWorks films
and Illumination
and Illumination Pictures. God Almighty!
Why were they animals? There's no reason.
There's no reason. There's no reason at all. They do normal things that people do.
You got so mad.
That's why Illumination Pictures is no. That's why Sing is my number one hated movie. Terrible movie.
Oh man.
You know what isn't a terrible movie? Deadpool 2. I give it 10 out of 10. This is a great movie.
It's the antithesis of Sing.
It's it's the complete polar opposite in the sense that Sing is like the worst, crappiest movie you could possibly have.
It's like cancer with a crossbow.
Exact. It's pretty
I'm pretty much Hawkeye at this point.
Oh, I'm gonna see this movie again real soon. I have to.
Anyway.
Well,
yeah.
You need to go home and like nap.
Well,
I mean,
nap.
You sleep.
Oh yeah, I take a quick 5-hour power nap. Yeah, wake up at 3 a.m. and then kill myself.
Oh my god. Did I tell you the time I slept for 28 hours?
What?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
This is a long story. Okay. So, I told you I almost died, right?
What?
Like, seriously, I almost died. So, How
old were you?
This was like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's when we weren't really in communication. That's why I didn't know.
This is like right around, I want to say around the time I reconnected with you around that time. And that's actually kind of the reason why. I was like, I've lost a lot of connectivity with people, and I'm very exiled. So this is your prequel to how we're here today.
Cool, interesting.
So I was working at RCP, which is a construction place. There's a lot of hazardous things there. One of which being that you're always driving forklifts around, which is kicking up concrete dust and such. So I got a cold, and I was gonna just shrug it off, and I thought it was fine, but it got worse, and then I had a really bad cough, and I was like, okay, this is pretty bad. And then that compiled with me going and volunteering at my church with the children's ministry, and it was flu season there. So caught something from them, which added on to what I had, and I ended up getting probably like the worst combination of the flu and strep throat you could possibly have. So leading into how I slept for that long, I took like an unreasonable amount of NyQuil. And this is probably at, I'd say like noonish, and I slept through that day into the next day and woke up at probably 6 or 7 the day after. So I slept through from noon that day all the way through to noon the next day, and then woke up at 6. And my parents were just like, yeah, we thought you were just asleep. We didn't know you were asleep the whole time. Because I woke up, I'm just like, oh, it's only 6. And then I checked the date, and I'm just like, dude, this is the 6th of this is the 6th of tomorrow. Like, what happened? Leading into that, thing is, I woke up, I'm not any better, I'm worse. So I'm dehydrated because I've been sleeping and haven't been eating. I was anemic for a little bit of that time because I haven't eaten anything. And then, so my solution, wise David, I'm going to have a lot of bread and green tea with honey and lemon, which green tea is a diuretic. So I'm just like, okay, I'm stupid. And when I say bread, I mean like 3 or 4 cups of noodles. So there's sodium in there. So I'm making my dehydration thing worse. So I take a nap, right? And this is the next day. Yeah, no, my hand could go through my face if I could think in retrospect. So I take another nap. right? And this is so the day after I realized I slept through, a day of my life. I take a nap. I wake up. I can't breathe at all. Nothing's going in or out through the nose or the mouth. So I can't make noises, and I'm home alone. And both my parents are at work, and my brother is working. And I'm home alone, and I can't breathe at all. And probably for 2 or 3 minutes, I was just trying to find a way to breathe. And just like trying to force water down to see if I could clear a passage. And I did. And I had 911 on the call, and the whole time she's like, is anyone there? And I'm trying to make noises, and I'm trying to say things, and I can't because you have to have air to make noises. And I can only wheeze things out. So call 911. The guys show up, and by that time I started to be able to breathe a little bit. And they were like, yeah, you need to go to the hospital. So my neighbor across the street, I'm really good friends with them, and so they're like, okay, let's go to the hospital. So initially we tried to go to certain hospitals, and they have to take your insurance. My insurance at the time was Blue Shield, and I will say this from now until the day I die, you will die if you have Blue Shield, because I went to Grossmont Sharp, I went to Kaiser, right? I went to 4 hospitals, and none of them took me. All of the while, I'm still unable to breathe, and I'm like partly almost throwing up and slowly going in and out of consciousness. So finally, we end up going to a Mercy Clinic, which is owned by Sharp. They have to take you because it's their main ER center. So regardless of what insurance they have to take you, and they'll take you regardless of what your insurance is. So I go there and get diagnosed, get an IV, and get all that, and get better. And they were just like, yeah, and the doctor's like, you had the worst case of strep throat I've ever seen. He's just like, usually it inflates to the point where you can kind of breathe and you get a bad cough. But he said, just from what compiled onto it, because he said, I guess what he said was the dehydration and the flu, the combination of the two made everything just swell up so much that it was just trying to hold moisture. And I guess that's what made me not be able to breathe. But yeah, so I was in there for an overnight, and the next day it didn't really hit me, where I was just like, I would have been dead because no one was there to help. And that was still is the scariest 10-15 minutes of my life, was not being able to know if I was going to live, and having my phone with someone saying, are you there? And I can't do anything. That was the worst moments of my life. And then shortly after, that's when I kind of realized that you have so few moments on this earth with everything around you that people worry about stupid stuff. They worry about their money and cars and all this stupid stuff when you aren't given a minute ahead of now. Every moment you live is just something so precious and something so important that you don't want to plan, because something so small can ruin any plan that you have. So I was just kind of set from that moment where I was like, I've got to start living how I need to, with people around me who I love and enjoy, and that I know will be impacted by me somehow. And just started, making steps to, I reconnected with both of my sisters and went over and saw them, and I told them the same story, and they were, shocked, and I'm still in contact with them, and I've connected with a lot of other friends, and, they were, they were there for a little bit and then they left, and I respect that. People aren't meant to be friends forever. Sometimes they're meant to be acquaintances, just so you can see them in passing. There's an old saying that my grandfather says, if you see a boat in the ocean, it doesn't mean you were meant to see it. It just means it's going somewhere. And in a way, that's the same, where you can make short-term friendships with people, and then they go their separate ways and they have their own ways to go. But for the ones that I did stick around with, which was you were one of, and I'm very impacted by you, and I've said that when we first connected, where I was just like, I felt like I was an unfair friend to you, and I was very, very selfish, and at the time I wasn't really thinking of what a friendship meant and what it is impactful. And I can say this now that it is super impactful, and yours has been super impactful, and that I can't think of a much better friend to have than one who can go so long without connecting and then just pick right back up like nothing ever happened. So, yeah, that's how I slept through an entire day and then almost died. So, it's a long little stint, but yeah. So no, I know, right?
I was trying to think of anything to say to follow up that, but I couldn't. 'Cause
I know.
I mean, damn, dude.
It's and thinking back, it's one of those moments where you realize where you need to go and what you need to do, and God aligns you where you need to go. And sometimes you have to get a really good shaking, and that was a really good shaking to learn where you need to be in life. There's a lot I have to give, and not much that I have to.
I think you have a lot more to give than you think you do.
Yeah, and
So-
and people don't realize that too.
Like, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man.
And,
No problem.
yeah, and I like how you put that too. It's just, like a really good close friend. You can just reach out to, reconnect, and just start hanging out with. Like no time.
Yeah.
Is in between. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Love you, man.
love you too, man. Take that, Nathaniel. No, I'm kidding.